Trading won't be a complete package if there is no indicator. By using Forex indicators, traders can make decisions about market entry and exit. WindWaker is one of the most well-known indicators in market with lower price but very high-quality signals compared to the other tools in market. Most of the Forex indicators in market have a delay in their signals, or they have poor market analysis, and with any type of trend they give signals which lead to many false signals. WindWaker is programmed to analyze the trend, price action strategies, high and lows of the charts and many more factors in order to give signals. This makes the Forex indicator to have an above 86% verified accuracy in its signals. The Forex WindWaker has been proven to make anywhere from 50 to 100 pips or more per trade depending on the day's volatility. There is no limit to the amount of pips profits you can make with the Forex WindWaker. Here is the product review. Watch it very carefully.
Hi traders, this is Cynthia of Day Trade Forex, and in this short video I'm going to review a new MT4 manual trading system that has just come out, and I've been trading with it since this morning off and on as I'm able to be in front of my computer, and I'm doing it in a 5-minute chart just because I know that a lot of people like to scalp and I wanted to see how it worked out, and I don't like to sit for too long in front of the computer and wait for long trades in the 30-minute or 1 hour or 4 hour chart when I plan to make a video of my results. So I decided to start this trading session this morning in a 5-minute chart, and this is the basic template that you get, and I did draw my vertical line for my buy entry and my vertical red line for my sell entry. And I'm going to show you the basic components of this very simple trading system. And one of the reasons I was attracted to it is because it's color coded, and if you are familiar with any of my trading systems that I've created since 2010 for the MT4, they're all color coded. And so I liked the fact that they've got the indicators that are color coded pretty much with the candles. So these are a little bit different candle, and I'll show you how to take a look at that. And so first of all, I want to show you my trading results for the day so far, and that's just being off and on in front of my computer. This is a 2,000 something dollar account, 2,300, and today so far I've made $89 just trading 0.10. And that's not even trading very many pairs or sitting around very much in front of my computer. And for the most part, I just used, well, for all but one trade, I just used this very basic buy and sell button, which is here in the top left corner, so you can just hide it or show it. So in order to take a trade, you have to have this trade button showing up. But we have their indicator window is right here behind it, so I'm going to show you how to move it over to the right hand side of the chart. So this is a really simple trading system, and it's designed for giving signal alerts, and there's only 3 indicators, and the bottom window is your trend, and then you have 2 other indicators only. That is called flute force, and that is a momentum indicator, and then there's another indicator called the hurricane, and these names for the indicators are just metaphors for the name of the trading system WindWaker. So they're using the hurricane, which is a very strong force, and it's an indicator that pops up when everything is aligned. So it's the best high quality indicator signal alert, and that's what we're waiting for, is the hurricane indicator signal pop-up alerts. It pop up an audio. So you can see here we have a round circle and with a red dot in it, so that's a hurricane. It's like the symbol of a hurricane with the eye of the hurricane in the middle, and the candles basically Well, this is not actually the original chart. I zoomed it out a little bit, so I'm going to zoom it in so you can see. This is actually what the chart looks like when you get it. So anytime you see a round circle, that's a hurricane sell signal, and you will get a pop-up alert, and it will say hurricane sell now. It'll say that in the indicator window. So the strongest signal alert is the hurricane force, and it'll say hurricane force up here, and it will give you a pop-up audio alert. So the hurricane force buy signal is right here, and the sell signal is right here. This is a sell signal, this is a buy signal. So pretty much this has been kind of choppy. This is the US 30 index. I'm an FX choice broker because I like to trade the indices, and this is the equivalent to the US Dow, the top 30 stocks. So basically the hurricane force with the red circle or the green circle, those are your strongest pop-up audio alerts when the force of the hurricane is very strong, when everything is aligned. So the clematis down here actually it sometimes lags just a tiny bit, although they say that it doesn't, but I've seen it lag just a little bit, but that's okay. It's not a major thing, and most of the time all of the signals are very aligned. And the flute force says waiting, and that is your momentum indicator. So when everything is aligned, you'll get the pop-up audio alert for the hurricane force. Flute force will say sell, and it'll say sell now, or in the case of a buy, it'll say buy now. So those are the three indicators, and they all work together combined to give you the best quality alert, which is the hurricane force alert. So we can see in the US 30 this morning, this is where my entries have not been perfect because I sometimes am not in front of my computer and I miss them. So I don't catch everything, but I've caught enough that it shows me how accurate these signal alerts really are. And that's what the system was designed for, is for traders who really want accurate buy or sell signals. And they don't give you trade management or anything, no real way to know when to exit the trade, except for that I can see that if you've taken a sell, like right here for the hurricane force pop-up alert, and you had taken a sell here, you could have exited when the opposite buy hurricane force alert popped up. So you can just trade between the alerts. You would have bought here and exited here. You could have sold at the same time and then exited and bought. So this is kind of like in the market all the time, and that means that you could actually be playing with this any time of the day or night. If you're in the slow Asian session, then I think the 5 or 15 minute chart is good, because you're going to get more action, because there tends to be a lot of consolidation in the Asian section. So you can use this in a 5-minute chart during the Asian session, and actually you can scalp or day trade or swing trade any way that you like. We can change this chart to a 15-minute chart to see if the entries are still pretty accurate. This was my entry this morning in a 5-minute chart, so it was just a little bit premature, but not by much, only by a couple of bars. Here's the 30-minute chart, and in a 30-minute chart we were already in an uptrend, and I did mark my exit here. I'll show it to you in a second. I just got the pop-up alert to sell, because down here in the bottom window the indicator is turned red. These are some of the pop-up alerts that you get. You can see you have the hurricane, you have the clematis, I think that's how you say it, that's the bottom window indicator. And those are basically the two indicators that give you pop-up alerts. And then the flute force, does not give you a pop-up alert, but it's a confirmation of momentum. So when you see this change and it's an alignment, it's an agreement, then it'll say sell now. So right now my trades are doing pretty good, and I'm just going to go show you how well, let's see, back in the 5-minute chart, this was my exit here. What I had done is I had drawn some trend lines at the major support and resistance, because that gave me an idea of what my target could be. I never planned to sit around and watch these all day long, but I just wanted to be able to come in and check on it from time to time and see if I could get some pretty good exits, and I did, because my history today is not too bad for just 0.10, 0.10. Now I'm going to show you the US 500, and I had actually used this chart with my own trade manager. So this was my sell entry in a 5-minute chart, and it was not a good entry because the hurricane had appeared as a buy signal a couple of bars earlier, but the clematis down here had turned red, so at some point this had turned green. But then the trend really was down, and here finally it did turn green. But I might have actually been in a 15-minute chart, yeah, because I used my own trade manager to enter the trade, and the trade pulled back and went against me. But then this period separator line that I added to the chart, this is 5 p.m. Eastern when the market reopens for the new trading day, and my trade manager bagged it right here. I put my little, you can see the tiny little slanted white line here. This is where my trade manager exited the trade. This was the trade manager right here, so it bagged 10 points for me automatically, and I wasn't around at my computer. And I'm going to show you how to add period separators and show you a little bit about drawing trend lines. This is my WTI crude. This was my buy entry, so I had managed to buy right when the hurricane force pop-up signal alert happened, and I was able to be at my computer when the pop-up signal alert happened for the hurricane buy signal here. But then the trade went against me quite a bit, but then it just zoomed right up again. I stayed in the trade, and I never did enter any stop losses here, which I should have, and I hope that you do trade with stop losses. And if you draw your trend lines, you can also put in your take profit lines. But this is where I exited right here, and it was on a bar or two right before the trend reversed completely, and we got a hurricane force sell signal plus a down arrow. And now you can see we have another hurricane force right here, and the flute force says short, clematis is short, and it says sell now. So that at the beginning of this 5-minute bar, it would have been a perfect sell entry. Or you can wait for it to pull back if you're waiting and watching in a 5-minute bar, and hope that you can get a little bit better entry on a pullback and then enter short. And here's the gold chart, and I had drawn a trend line connecting all the lower points. It was in an uptrend, and this was my entry here for a buy trade this morning, and I waited through quite a while and finally exited here. This is 5 p.m. Eastern, so right at 5 p.m. gold really shot up, and I was still in my trade, and so I just exited when it went into consolidation in the 5-minute chart. I had drawn my 3 trend lines. I connected, I guess I had gone back into it, and I had found the 3 most recent highs, and you can see that it's pretty accurate. So that's a good way to plot out your targets. Here's the pound New Zealand dollar, and I have to admit this was my worst trade of the day. And in a 5-minute chart, this was my first entry, and it was quite a bit later, after the hurricane force buy signal popped up and it was on a retracement, and I thought I would be really smart and buy on a retracement. However, I had already drawn my trend line, which is down, and I ignored my trend line, so I bought when the price was still underneath the trend line. I would have had probably I probably wouldn't have entered it if I had waited for the price to break above the trend line, because immediately on the next bar we got a hurricane force sell signal, and because the trend is down, and you can see. So, and then at this point I had received, there's no round signal here. I had turned off the hurricane force alert because I wanted to see what would happen, and I just didn't get the round signals, but I still got the arrows. So I had purchased again because it had gone into consolidation and price broke above the trend line, so I bought again. Clematis was green, and I had exited that trade somewhere in here just for a very small amount because I already had 2 trades on, and actually I had placed a 3rd trade when we did get I had turned the hurricane force alert back on, and so now this time I did get the circle with the arrow, so I bought it the 3rd time, and this was my exit for my 2nd trade. And now you can see that I'm pretty well rewarded for my 1st trade, which I'm still in. And this was my earlier 1st trade. I'm up $10, almost $11. And here's my 3rd trade. So that's up $29. And so that turned out pretty good, even though those were not my best trades of the day, but they turned out okay. And I think because of the system that it's been okay. Now here's my pound yen trade, and I'm in profit a little bit with that one. And this was my sell entry here, and I guess I had entered again. I had sold again. So yeah, that was my first sell entry earlier in the day. I only made $6 on that one, but this one's doing a lot better. So it's up $8. But the best trades so far are the US 30 and the US 500, and they're doing pretty good. Oh, the pound New Zealand dollar, that's doing really good. So I'm doing great on these trades. So now I think I should teach you what I did to put in the period separators, and hopefully you know how to draw trend lines, because I think that drawing trend lines is really an important thing. If this chart's too squished together for you, this is one thing you can do, is just click on the zoom. And if you want the period separator at 5 p.m., you can see this big huge price drop right here. You right mouse click on your chart, go to properties, and then go to common. And I like to show the ask line, so I click show ask line and show period separators. Now on this chart you can see that your ask line is red and it's moving, and you can see it. Now price is pulling back a little bit, so I should be paying attention to these trades, but it's hard to trade and make a video at the same time. But that's how I add my period separator and zoom out just a little bit. And if you want to draw a trend line, you can see that at the start of the, whoops, don't double click it, just single click it. At the start of the 5 p.m. after this big price drop in the first 5 minutes on this bar, now it's become resistance, and we'd have to go back to see what our target actually should be. I can't tell what the target is because 5-minute chart's not showing you true trend. 15-minute chart doesn't even show you true trend, but here you can see the low. So grab your horizontal tool and just drop it in there, and it's now showing you the low point. So this would be our target. So I would stay in this trade until it hits this target. And if I don't want to be in front of my computer and I'm not using any trade manager of any kind, and obviously I'm not using any stop losses, which I should you hopefully know how to place a stop loss, but I'll do it anyway. Here we are in US 30. Just click on there, then right mouse click and go to modifier delete. And the thing is, with the indices, these are in points, so you have to make it, at least you have to add an extra 0 even when you're using currency pairs. But when you're using indices, you actually have to add an extra 0 on top of that, because now with the indices we're not trading in pips, we're trading in points. So I would copy that, and then I don't know what this is going to be. 2000, well, it'll say 29138. So where are we right now? 29. That's just 2. I'm going to make that 5,000 points. 28839. But that's right where we are right now. So if I put my take profit, if I click OK to modify, it's going to take me out of the trade. So I'm going to put it to 6,000. Whoops. Okay. Copy as. So 6,000. So 6,000. 28741. So that's quite a ways down there, and it's even further down than the, so I want my target's going to be 29289. So I'm going to change that to, okay, so now my target will be down here, and it'll take me, if I hit that target. So now you can see that I have my stop loss and my take profit. Now I'm enough in profit at this point. Let's see. Well, actually I'm not. It's not that much in profit. But where's my stop loss? I can't see it. I think this is it right here. I'm going to drag my stop loss down to right there. So 2939, and my entry was 2934. So if it went against me, I'd only lose 5 points. So boy, I'm giving back a lot of profit. We were almost half of my gain has disappeared just making this video. That's okay. So that's how you do the take profit and stop loss, which you should use some kind. Some trade managers definitely learn how to put in your own stop loss or take profit if you don't know how to. Now I'm going to show you how to move this over, because if I wanted to place a trade, it covers up. So I'm going to show you how to move this message window here over to the right side, or you can move it down to the bottom right corner or the bottom left corner, wherever you want to put it. If you're using a trade manager of any kind, which is an EA, it's going to be up here in the top right corner, so you may not want to move this to your top right corner, but I'm just going to show you. So you right mouse click on your indicator list and choose Hurricane, click Edit, and down here in the alert settings it says left upper chart corner, so I'm just going to double click that and choose, maybe I'll choose left lower corner because I don't have anything going on in that window, and then click close. And I would not change any other settings, but this is how you could change the placement of this little window, because now you can leave your buy and sell window open. So that's about it for this wonderful, easy, simple little trading system that was designed to give you very, very accurate pop-up buy and sell alerts. And the hurricane force with the round circle, green for buy and red for sell, pretty accurate actually, unless you're in a choppy range like this is right in here. I mean, you're not going to gain very much, but you can see right around 5 p.m. Eastern, either before 5 p.m. Eastern or after 5 p.m. Eastern, then you have a lot of activity going on, and in the middle of the day not too much activity. But so that's about it for this demonstration and a review. And the only thing that I would say is if you get everything set up with your window here and your period separator and your ask line, do the few little things to enhance the template, then if you want to save this as your new template, actually you need to save a clean copy that doesn't have any of your own buy or sell arrows. So this is my own little that I use. You can use it for trend lines, or I use it for marking up where I exit, and that's this right here. And if you right mouse click on it, you can see the properties, and you can see that you can make the line thicker or narrower, or you can change the color. And if you go into parameters, it's not array, so that's how I get this short white line. And you can do that for marking up your charts to show where your exit is. So I like to use that. So I'm just going to click delete, delete, and now I have the chart the way that I would like it, except for I want to get rid of this too. I want to have a clean template, but I don't want my vertical or horizontal lines. Well, this was my target. I'm just going to get rid of the vertical lines that I drew on here manually. Delete my support and resistance lines, because I think it's important to trade this trading system with support and resistance. Well, I trade with support and resistance, so now if you're not sure you want to do that, now you know how to do it. So now I want to save this template because it has my period separators that marks on my chart when 5 p.m. Eastern is, and it has my ask line for showing the price as it's moving. You can see the red line moves a little bit, and then I have this moved here. So I'm going to save this template. I'm going to go in here, click Save Template, and scroll down, and this is WindWaker. And I'm just going to click to save. I'm going to write over it. So now I can go and apply this if I want to look at a new chart. Say I want to look at, well, let's see what the pound Aussie is doing. We're in the Asian session right now. Pound Aussie often moves really well during the Asian session. So I'm just going to apply my template, WindWaker full. Oh, that's very loud. And looks like we're in a 1 hour chart. Okay, so change that. Well, change the chart to whatever time that you want. Here is 5 p.m. Eastern, and the price started right here. This was your hurricane pop-up audio alert to buy, and the clematis is the same color, so this is where you would have entered to buy, and this is where the price is right now. So that was a nice little run-up, and that's how you can just apply your chart to any new currency pair or indice that you want to look at. Oh boy, looks like I really, boy, what happened to all of my profit? It sure dried up. Let's see what happened while I was here, while I was talking to you. So this hit a take profit, and that was $36, and that was my trade. So that's the only one that really hit one of my take profits, and this one's doing pretty good. Let's go look at the, so it's hit. This is one of my, you can see this is a target, because this, if you look in a 15-minute chart, I had drawn, well, actually there's a higher target right up here. You can see right here. That's a little bit higher target, so I might just wait. It might bounce off this. This is the most recent high, which was right in here. And if it pushes past that, then the next most recent high will be back here, was here. And so there's my target. if it pushes past this, then I'm just going to let it go. And in a 30-minute chart, that is the high right here, so I wouldn't expect to go any more past that. So in a 15-minute chart, that's a pretty good target. So everything's still doing pretty good. What's happening with my US 30 and US 500? They're retracing a little bit, but this is still red. Candles are still red. US 30, everything's still red. It's pulling back a little. I'm just going to leave them until I get the reverse signal for a buy hurricane force green circle, and these turn green. I'm just going to let this trade go, and I haven't placed a stop loss or a target for this one yet, but I could, but you know how to do that, so I just really don't need to show you how to do that again. So that's about it for right now, and you can see how in a 5 or 15-minute chart you really have to stick with your trades so that you can get the most out of them, and learn how to draw your trend lines for the latest support and resistance, because that's where you can put your initial stop, and that's how you can determine your target, and then you can move your stop loss to break even or better at some point. So without any trade management at all, that's how you can determine your take profit levels and your stop loss levels, just with the latest support and resistance, and that trade's ready to just be on autopilot, and I can come check on it, and I can move my stop loss. Just click on your stop and drag to modify, so you can move it down to reduce your risk, and at some point just keep moving it to lock in some profit. And that's how you can manually trade without any kind of trade manager. But I think that you need to use your trend lines. They're very important. So thanks so much for watching, and I might sound a little tired because I've been up so early, since like 5 a.m. Central Standard Time, trading and doing everything that I do. And right now it's 7:30 p.m. Central, so I'm a little bit tired, so I might sound a little slow and long-winded, and I apologize, but I really like this little trade system, and I just wanted to shoot a review video of it for you in case you're interested in a very simple color-coded system that does nothing but give you high-quality buy and sell pop-up audio alerts. And if you're looking for something like that, this is one of the nicest systems I've seen for the pop-up audio alerts, and everything's very visual. And when you get a hurricane force, here was the sell, hurricane force right at 5:30 p.m. If you had seen that, you just would have sold, just immediately sell, and then move your stop loss, add a stop loss of some kind, and then just keep moving it down to lock in some profit. So I just really like this system, especially for people who really need assistance in determining when to enter a trade. Exiting's not quite as easy, but it never is. But like I said, if this was your entry with your pop-up hurricane force and arrow, then you could have gotten out when you see the opposite, the red hurricane force signal, and then you could have just entered short. So you can use these for entry and exit if you're not using any other way to determine when you should exit. So that's a real simple way to exit. And I think that's about it for this video, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch it. And if you think you're interested in buying it, it's priced extremely reasonably and definitely well worth it, and I'm happy to review this. And the link to purchase is in the description box below this video, so go ahead and pick it up. I think you're going to enjoy it very much. And again, I thank you for taking the time to watch, and you have a wonderful trading day tomorrow and the rest of the week and the rest of the year. Make it a good one.